Hello everyone, how are you doing today? This is Easy Natural English with Liam. So as usual, for about 10 minutes, I'll be talking to you in English in a natural way, but a little bit easier than usual about everyday topics. And the last video I talked about traveling in the UK, which is the country that I am from. I am a British person. But I live in Japan, and anyone who has been listening for a while will know that I teach online. I teach English online, and one of my students today suggested that maybe I should talk about traveling in Japan, which I haven't done a lot of, but I've done some traveling in Japan. So just going to talk about that today. So now I live in Okinawa. So those of you who don't know Japan well, Okinawa is a little island in the south of Japan, very far south. It's actually closer to Taiwan than it is to the Japanese mainland. Very far south, which means the weather here is much warmer than other parts of Japan. It's kind of warm all year. It's kind of, subtropical. You can get local mangoes, local dragon fruits, things like that. So nice climate. Now I live in Okinawa, which is a very popular tourist destination, particularly for Asian tourists. So people from China and Korea come here, and people from other parts of Japan and maybe from some other Asian countries. Not so many European tourists come here. There's lots of American people that live here, because Okinawa has American military bases, the army base. They have their, aircraft, the airplanes and things, doing army things. I don't know much about the military, but so there's some Americans that live here, but Americans, Europeans, they don't really come here on vacation so often. Other popular tourist places that I have been in Japan. I used to live in Osaka, which is in Kansai region. And in that region, there's quite a lot of popular tourist places. So I visited Kyoto, which is very beautiful city. I think it's a World Heritage Site, UNESCO World Heritage Site. And it has a lot of beautiful old temples and shrines. The temples are from the Buddhist religion, and the shrines are from the Shinto religion, which is the native religion in Japan. It's like the local religion. Buddhism came from, started in India. Kyoto is really beautiful. If you come to Japan from another country, probably when I ask Japanese people, where do you recommend tourists to go? Most Japanese people would say go to Kyoto, because it's really got the old kind of traditional, beautiful side of Japan that people might want to see when they visit Japan. So if you want, if you watch some old like samurai movies or something, and you've seen that nice old fashioned old style Japan and you'd like to see that, then Kyoto is a nice place to go. Old streets, old buildings. You'll see a lot of people wearing traditional Japanese clothing when they walk around there, because it's a nice place to take photographs. And if you're wearing kind of old style clothing, like traditional clothing, it matches the kind of traditional background. So really nice place to go. And there's lots of kind of traditional foods you can eat there as well. Other places that are popular. Also in the Kansai region, so in that same area, of course there's Osaka itself, which is a big popular city, particularly for eating. If you want to eat lots of delicious Japanese food, it's a good place to go. That's why I moved there. That's why I chose to live there, because I'd heard that the food was very good and I wanted to eat a lot of that. And then there's also Naha, which is Nara. Nara. Naha is in Okinawa. Sounds similar. Nara, or in English probably say Nara. That's That's a little city kind of similar to Kyoto. It has some temples and shrines, not quite as many, but also a beautiful kind of traditional place. But their special thing is they have a lot of deer, the animal with the horns. They have a lot of deer that just walk around. They just roam around. They wander around, and they come up to the people. They're very tame. Tame means they're not shy of people. They're not wild. Yeah, they'll walk up to you and you can feed them crackers, which they sell there. So yeah, that's a fun place to visit. Where else have I been? And then, of course, I lived in Tokyo, which is, definitely a popular tourist place. Probably most people coming to Japan from other countries will probably fly into Tokyo if it's not like Kansai region. A lot of people fly into Tokyo. And, that's a big city. There's everything that you want to do. There's all the Japanese food you'd ever need to find or eat. You can get everything there. Even, specialities from other regions, you can find them in Tokyo. And, it's a big, neon jungle. If you walk down the street, you can see all the neon lights, and it looks like those futuristic movies from the 1980s. In the 1980s, there was this image of the future that actually, is not true. Now we're in the future from the 80s, and it doesn't really look like that. But in the 80s, people thought, the future would be like neon lights everywhere. So yeah, Tokyo kind of does look like that. So a lot of people like to take photographs there, especially at nighttime. And of course, yeah, big, great city, lots of things to do. Then further north is Hokkaido, where I still haven't been yet. But I would really like to go. Beautiful snowy part of Japan, because Japan is very long. So even though I live in Japan in a kind of subtropical part of Japan down south, you go all the way up north, and then you have a lot of snow. And it's very cold, and in the winter, very thick snow, so many centimeters of snow. So yeah, very different from here. But I'd like to visit it in the winter, because I'd like to see the thick snow and see, the snow-covered landscape would be very beautiful. But my wife hates the cold as a Okinawan local. She really hates the cold, so she wants to go there in the summer. But in the summer, they're famous for their fields of flowers. They grow a lot of tulips, I think. Sorry if I'm wrong. I think it's tulips. Maybe other types of flowers too. So another beautiful part of Japan. Where else have I been? I've been to Kyushu as well, which is a big island and in the south of Japan, not as far south as Okinawa, but pretty far south. And in Kyushu, also famous for food. I guess every part of Japan is famous for different foods, but Kyushu is famous for its ramen. And yes, the ramen that I ate, the few ramens that I ate in Kyushu were some of the best ramens I've ever eaten. So best bowls of ramen that I've ever eaten. So yeah, the food was very good there. And what else was special about Kyushu? Fukuoka is a really nice it's a nice city. It's quite big, so there's lots to do, but it's much more relaxed than Tokyo and Osaka. So yeah, if you're a tourist and you want to visit a big city that's much more calm, not so many crowds, then Fukuoka is a nice place to go. And yeah, lots of famous onsen, lots of famous hot springs down there, like public bath with the natural hot water that comes from under the ground. And there's a lot of famous ones in Kyushu. Again, there's kind of a lot of famous ones all around Japan, but those ones are particularly famous, like in Beppu, for example. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, lots of places to visit in Japan. So if you are planning a trip to Japan, don't just look at Tokyo and, don't even only look at the places I've mentioned. Japan has a lot to offer. So check Google, look around at different places and, see what kind of vacation you would like. It could be, tropical beaches. It could be snow-capped mountains. It could be beautiful farms in the countryside. You know, of course, lots of food. There's so many things to offer. So, if you're one of my Japanese listeners, you'll know this already. But for those of you who are in other countries, come to Japan. Come and check it out. Very nice place to visit. But anyway, for today, that's all from me. Thank you very much for listening today, and I will see you all back here next time.